Hi, I am coming to you from my new basement studio, I guess. This is where I'm going to be teaching when I'm teaching from home, at least for the next little while until I have a different workaround. Today I am going to show you how to divide fractions. And there's one key word in here, there's one key vocabulary term, it's reciprocals. So reciprocals are really just an inverted fraction. You just turn a fraction upside down. And that is a key idea when we are dividing fractions. It's something that we have to be very familiar with. It's not a tricky thing. There's no, it's not difficult. In your math book on page 64, you can't see it yet. Oh, there it is, page 64. That's where I want us to be. We have some real quick introduction of the word reciprocal, and sorry guys, I'm working on my spacing and arrangements and stuff. I thought I had it good. Okay, there we go. That's better. All right, so we're going to look at some practices of writing the reciprocal. So we start with our original fraction of 3/5. And when you write the reciprocal, it's 5/3. So literally the 3 became the denominator and the 5 became the numerator. That's it. So 9/5, when you write it as reciprocal, it's 5/9. 2 is a whole number. When you write 2 as a fraction, it's 2 ones. When you write it as a reciprocal, it's 1/2. Now I want you to go ahead and pause the video, and you are going to do on your own number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Go ahead and pause it. We're going to write our reciprocals 1, 2, 3, 4 on your own, page 64. So here's my notes so far on lesson 2.2. I just wrote the name of the lesson, what I'm doing. My keyword was reciprocal. I just invert my fraction that I'm given. Number 1, the answer should be 4/3. Number 2 should be 1/5. Number 3 should be 2/7, and number 4 should be 9/4. That's it. So now we're going to take that information and we're going to work on dividing fractions. Now dividing fractions is pretty easy. If you could multiply a fraction, you can divide a fraction, because the only thing that you have to remember is that you switch your second fraction. So the second fraction has to be written as a reciprocal, and then you multiply it. You change the sign and you change the fraction. So see how it was 1/5 divided by 3/4? And when you're dividing, you just switch it around. 1/5 times 4/3. At this point, you could do any cross canceling that you want to. I'll show you in my next example. So look guys at page 65 at the tippy top, where we have example number 2. So here's example number 2. 1/6 divided by 2/3. So I start with my 1/6 divided by 2/3. Then I flip the sign and I flip the second fraction. I write the reciprocal. At this point, I can cross cancel and divide out any common factors. So 3 and 6 both had a common factor of 3. 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 6 2 times, and then you multiply numerators and denominators and end up with 1/4. Here's an extra example that I made of example 2. Oops, you can't see it yet. Hold on. Let me scooch. There we go. Okay. I had 3/4 and I was dividing it by 9/10. I flipped the second, so I had 10/9. 3/4 times 10/9. And 3 and 9 both have a common factor of 3, so I divided that out. And 4 and 10 both have a common factor of 2. I divided that out. And I ended up with 1 times 5 is 5, and 2 times 3 is 6. So 3/4 divided by 9/10 equals 5/6. And that's how we do that problem. Down here, we have what you do when you divide, example number 3, sorry, is what happens when you divide a whole number by a fraction. So remember, a whole number, when you write it as a fraction, is really just that number over 1. I'm not hip to how the book shows it. Like, that's not my favorite way to show it. I would rather have the two fractions written next to each other. I have 3 divided by 3/4, which when I flip the reciprocal and flip the sign, turns into 3 times 4/3. Here I would have 3 over 1 times 4 over 3. See my 4 over 3 right there? I could cross cancel my 3's. So 3 goes into 3 each one time. Get rid of those. And I would end up with 4 over 1, or a whole number of 4. Which makes sense. It wouldn't make sense if this answer was a fraction, because it says how many pieces can you cut from the piece of wood. Well, it wouldn't make sense if it was like 2/3 of a piece. No. How many total pieces? You can get 4 pieces out of that. Okay? Here's one more example that I have for a story problem type setup. This is just my extra example. How many 3/5 meter pieces of rope can you get from a 6 meter piece? My piece of rope is 6 meters long. I want 3/5 meters pieces of rope. What happens? So I start off with my hole, 6 meters divided by 3/5 meters. So I turn my whole number into a fraction, and I flip the sign and I flip the second fraction. It's always the second fraction. Do you notice that I'm only flipping the second fraction? I'm not flipping anything else, just the second one, the sign in the second. Okay? So I divided out 3 as my common factor. 2 times 5 is 10. 1 times 1 is 1. I have 10 over 1. I can get 10 pieces. Okay? Now it is time to do some on your own. We're going to do on your own number 5 through 9. What? Oh yeah, we're doing them all. Story problems are fun. We got to do all of our word problems too. So go ahead, pause the video, do on your own 5 through 9. Okay, here we go. Number 5 should be 6/7. Number 6 should be the whole number 4, and you would just type in the number 4. You wouldn't necessarily put 4 over 1. The simplest form is whole number 4. Number 7 is 1 1/2. Number 8 is 1 1/3. Number 9 is 14. Take a look at my work. Is there anything that you have questions with, or anything that you don't understand? Let me know. We have one more example that we're going to work on. Example number, oh no, I lied. Do we have 2? Nope, we're just going to do number 4 today. Okay? We're going to do example number 4. Example number 4 is dividing a fraction by a whole number. So I have 4/5 of a pie left, and I'm dividing that whole pie into the 4/5 into 2 pieces. And so the question is, how much am I going to get left? How much am I going to have left after that? Again, you just take your whole number and write it as a reciprocal, or write it as an improper fraction. Then you flip it. You flip the sign and you flip the second fraction. So cross cancel, simplify right here, divide out your common factor, and you're going to end up with 2/5. Go ahead and do a little bit more practice, numbers 10 through 13. Go ahead and do 10 through 13. I don't know about you, but my notes for this lesson turned out to be 3 pages, and we're not even getting to example number 5 today. That's okay though. It's a lot of good work. Number 10, it should be 1/6. Number 11 is 1/15. Number 12 is 5/32. And number 13 is 3/14. Your homework tonight is coming up for you. It's lesson 2.2. It's on page 67. You're doing all of 2 through 6, and then 12 through 28 even. Now, if you're doing 12 through 28 and you're like, these numbers just don't seem right, remember you can always do an odd problem or two and then check the answer in the back of the book, because your odd number answers are in the back of your book. Don't forget about that resource. Please let me know if you have any questions. We will be doing some more with dividing fractions tomorrow, so come with questions.